Mwanka Samuni, a former minister of Housing and Works, former Works and Housing Minister, or some MP for Fwasi a Yiribi, honorable, Papa Yangasa girls Nifilino. Honorable Kojo Oppong Nkrumah. Wabeki can sing be about to force na baso. Now go was MPP ni na obo NDC ni abaso sano. Sa dia ya enye so enye. This is FMS Strength, and here we give you the latest updates on issues. My name is Maureen Michelle, and you can call me the Information Minister. NC, former Works and Housing Minister. Was also a Communications Minister pay. Osanso ye MP for Fwasi a Yiribi. Oye girls nini na favorites, cause honorable a fine one. Honorable Kojo Oppong Nkrumah. It's honorable I can send be Obo for a finance minister Abaso, finance minister Dr. Casey Lato Forson. Obon Abaso say, I say we introduce commitment control be a bebwa Ghana papa. Say me I say min pen this and someone I say me filian this for a dear why in quade to Forson me bo Abaso for introducing a year commitment control. Yenshin.
A commitment controls na finance minister diabano. Eno me bona baso pa for sa commitment controls no.
Ano ye den?
Ye ka commitment controls ah. I say me catch is a big push no. O ka so be spend it 13. On spend it 13, wa ma commitment, wa ma krata for 7 billion. Eno cry and spend it. Inti eno no ni growth ni jobs ni transformation ah. E wo say e create no. Enko. Okay. Abayi mu no se wo kan Public Financial Management Act na ansa na ubema obi contract se onkoye bibi no e wo se ukoje commitment authorization ana ukoje commitment certificate e wo finance ministry, because finance ministry e wo so mutumi hu se ade we a wo ma contract ya ye nhihye ya ye bobo hu ska nti by the time a contractor ne be wie no ne etumi nya hu ska ne aden ne etu ama no enti se yama budget no kra na se wan kwa nkoje commitment for it eni kwan se o start minister ne buy no or the one layer beto so or the bibia bo friend commitment authorization enti untumi nko PPA kra wa bra wo beje commitment authorization eno yade ame me de pa wo because tete no wo say wote finance ministry as finance minister abeti ne say minister bia ma contract bi wa ha say what you bet say DC bi ama contract bi wa say into wo wire o calculation ya wi a wo say me commitment nyina ye 2 billion no what ho na the list abroad say we ama we wa say president ko to wa say odu ho na ohen say nana ayi o mampani ye kwan na o mampani say Rose minister wo enfa na munya contractor bi no we no popo ye ni na ba be kan commitment wo hwe wo revenue measures untumi tafi bo say abekriti commitment bebre any arrears eno na fi ube tifi your primary balance no na primary balance no call deficit nti me bo finance minister na ba so say commitment controls no or the aba.
So what it means is say no apart from no commitment na no be ma no minister bi ntimi fetching come contract bi
I just no ma otumi ansa na wetumi akoye.
Wow.
Nti me bo na ba so e be controlly sa
unnecessary expenditures
on budgeted commitments na be baso ebe control pa no o make sure say we enye brofo keke na omo de beye juma ebe boa Ghana.
Okay,
in fact me cry say onim say me the private members bill about parliament say ministry department agency and assembly bia say we program no crampo na wo de ko finance minister akwakoje budget no say NDPC and certify ma wa finance minister ni mu kwan say o ma uska.
Okay.
Enti private members bill me mediaco parliament ya hu adwuma nyina wi a Mr. Speaker ama clerks na chro me. Enti we say start stakeholder meetings. You we stakeholder meetings na the report called private members bill committee na afi yearly na ya pass it as an amendment to section 21 because sa loopholes ni na o see close. Maka just say kwa ban mu no yesua niam bi. Kanema bi wo ho anka e wo ho deda na enkansem eto yen ke bi anto yen. Nti te se media mehunu me nya hwehwan ntra odin say en say nti me say me the private members bill aba minister no so aye baako commitment control na me bo na baso ho no expressway ya o mo kan ho asemi
Honorable Isaac Adongo no nti muni honorable Isaac Adongo or your MP na honorable Isaac Adongo is also part of the finance committee our parliament and he's the chairman of the finance committee. So honorable Adongo enya kwenya etina TV so na nasema wo kan say a lot of preparations have been made when it comes to the 24-hour economy now NDC for a promise Ghana for in their 2024 manifesto. Yabeto aba ebo mo share Ghana for no. Almost say a lot of preparations have been done when it comes to the 24-hour economy no. Enti Ghana for munya butre. It's in the pipeline and I'm kwaso Monsabeka, a DB promise bia ye ba ye be yo ya ba ye be ye
They expected us to put 24-hour economy. A lot of preparatory work has been done.
Right.
The policy has been now completely outlined. We are very clear what we want to do. We are very clear. So some of the interventions to invest in our energy future is driven by the enabling requirements of the 24-hour economy.
Okay.
To make sure that there's enough energy so that people who invest in the 24-hour economy will not be saddled with energy problems. The construction of Big Push is tailored towards that. For those of you who know Ghana very well, if I give you the map of what we are seeking to do with Big Push, you would wish that the future comes sooner than later. You will have heard that we want to do the Kumasi Expressway,
yes,
the first of its kind. But the Kumasi Expressway opens the way to the north. And we have in the north what we call the Northern Ringway. If you pass through Kumasi, you get to Techiman. You know you can go through Wenchi, and you end up in the savannah. Through the savannah, you pass through Sola, you link up to Wa. Very terrible road network from Sola to Wa. From Wa, you go through Hen, Tumu, Chana, Navrongo, and back to Bolga. From Bolga, you can go through Nakpanduri in Boku, through the Bolga Boku Promakun Road. It is the vision that His Excellency had to make sure that that ringway gives various options for people who want to travel. So if you pass through Nakpanduri, you end up in Nalego. Takes you back to Gambaga, Pasenkwe, and then you are back in Walwale, Dr. Mahmoud Baomien's hometown. And you can choose to go back to Tamale and to continue your journey back to Accra. The Eastern Corridor Road that we're doing, people didn't understand. If you start from Accra, you go through Akosombo. You go and appear at, you know, Have.
Have, yeah.
Yeah, at Have, you can branch to the left, and it takes you all the way to Kwando. Okay? From Kwando, you end up in Uraura, and then you are in Ketekrachi. You cross the river with a pontoon. And in fact, we want to link that space. We want to construct the longest bridge so that people can cross over to Kwandai. Okay? Then from Kwandai, you can go to Yendi. Then from Yendi, you are in Tamale.
So it's a holistic program.
It's a holistic program. You see, for those who don't want to pass there, you can pass through Hohoi, go through Kwanta to Kwasa, and you are at Otidamanko, Bimbila, Yendi, back to Tamale. And those of you who want to go in the Western Corridor, you see what is happening on that stretch. Okay? So you can go through, how do you call it, Kaswa. From Kaswa, you end up on the Cape Coast Road. Kaswa. Before you enter Cape Coast, if you want to go back to Kumasi, you can use Yamransa Junction. Pass through Fomena. Not Fomena, Fosu. From Fosu, you are going back to Kumasi, or you can decide to go left and go to Obuasi.
Right.
Okay? And through Obuasi, you can come back to Kumasi. Or you can go to Takrade. From Takrade, you take your left, you are heading towards Asankregwa, Enchi. You end up in Jaboso. It takes you back to Sefiri also, through Bebieni back to Kumasi. This is the road network we are trying to improve. And this is a holistic program. You don't do yearly allotments and achieve this kind of massive transformation.
Right.
You need to have a long-term view. Whilst you are acting short, you have a long-term view. And so in 2025, when we're approving for Big Push, We told the people of Ghana that big push, we will need an amount of money of so much for 2026, 2027, 2028. And we decided to front load the preparatory work so that when we start, we are going. And somebody doesn't understand this one. Simple project management.
Right.
So how can they manage this economy the way they did? Because they don't even understand
Because
And see, or can't have some way, you know, and Dr. Case Lato Forson 2026 budget or representing the last week, you know, and what's them. And once and then will say, being in opposition doesn't mean that NPP should oppose everything. Asema honorable Isaac Adongo, Katre NPP for no say, being in opposition doesn't mean that NPP should oppose everything. I didn't ban a Yamagana cry because of opposition and ya buying a Washington, Mos Yambontungu, Yambontu na way the Anin no more you to say the Muya Santa Moon. Or say there be MWA.
A major part of social spending is the frontline Ghanaian vulnerable communities.
Right.
So we are making resources available to improve the LEAP program. We are giving first line support to improve the capitation grants for children in rural communities. We want to improve the delivery of school feeding so that the quality and quantity is better. So these are all social services that are underpinning the work, because we do know that as part of social protection, it is not easy for everybody to equally join in delivering and providing the economic transformation that we are seeing. Others must be brought up to be able to join that activity.
Right.
So you'll find that if you want to support agriculture, so whilst you are doing commercial agriculture, you must handhold the peasant farmers, because that is a livelihood program. So you will find that there's a lot of emphasis on commercial agriculture, but also to make sure that our peasant farmers are not left behind. So
right.
the Akoko Kitinkiti program is a social program to make sure that the rural communities are able to see economic activity and be able to contribute their quota towards the development of our country. And like I was talking about security, you would have found that we are trying to retool the Ghana Police Service. For so many years, the Ghana Police Service, yes, there was some work done, but we think that the capacity that the police need for internal security must be enhanced. And there's a lot in this budget to do that. We also see that the safety net, particularly when you come to firefighting and fire security, we have a problem with fire tenders.
The tenders.
And
then, last week I spoke to the PRO. He mentioned that their tenders are obsolete.
So we want to retool that. And the Minister for Interior, Honorable Muntaka Mubarak, will be giving resources to retool the fire service. There is also the policy thinking, to try and leverage with the private sector to provide capacity to fight fire in some of our high-rise buildings that are coming up. Because if you have a high-rise building like the Bank of Ghana Square, with fire at the 18th floor, you must have firefighting capacity beyond the fire tenders. So all that is being considered. And so we think that security is key. You would have also found that there are a lot of provisions in the budget to deal with the army and to retool the army and make sure that...
Your colleague in Parliament, the ranking member on the Defense Committee, he says you are rather prioritizing luxury travels when it comes to retooling the Ghana Armed Forces instead of getting them the jets that they really, really need to fight, among others.
Honorable ABF Husseini said, they are giving you a baba. Wait, let them finish and look in the mirror. You are touching and say, no, here you haven't cut here, you haven't cut it. Wait. Like you said about Paul Boateng about execution.
Yes.
When it comes to implementation of the budget, those matters will come up. Okay? And some of those will be brought to Parliament. And he will be one of the strongest voices to fight against it. Maketo, when it comes, and he's now fighting it, play the voice. Being in opposition doesn't mean that you should oppose everything. So you can see that we are taking social spending very important.
Okay.
We are dealing with economic transformation. You can see agriculture, where we are mechanizing agriculture. So the agriculture services centers and all the implement and equipment that they need to modernize agriculture is in this budget. And you would have found also that industrialization is a key part of this budget. That we want to move towards adding value to our raw materials.
Right.
Okay, and about 7 new factories are targeted to improve agribusiness. And then also we want to move in not just to find the next cocoa, but also to make sure that that next cocoa doesn't suffer the same fate as cocoa by its process. So the palm oil plantations and the accompanying integration into the forward march to add value. Right. It's all in this budget. Right. So this
Now, Honorable Isaac Adongo, the chairperson of the finance committee or parliament, no. Waka assembly or say previously, neither so shady MPP for. Previously, na ye run a country need to say, as a sika bi da baby, sika pudwo bi da baby ni yetam, and ye de ye disappoint ye way. It's like we're not cutting our coats according to our sizes. Now say Ghana for just say prima and kasana ne yelbo. Sika nda baby and so Ghana elbo prima. And every man get what just say sika die bi Samson nane nam ho. It's not say ye boy bra as a country. Every country as if sika pudwo bi da baby. Any ye country no ho adwuma e dey to time ye me hia ye ne ade no one ntesa we're not cutting our coats according to our sizes
because our predecessors had run this economy into a bankruptcy and all the rating agencies had agreed that we were running a junk economy and no investor gives money to a junk economy. So we had to navigate this problem and find a way to finance the development of our country without recourse to those who had previously given us $3 billion a year, and we still could not make use of it. Mr. Speaker, in addition to that, we inherited an IMF program that had derailed. We had missed most of the benchmarks that we needed to implement, and this government, even in the face of the lack of funding, had to work very assiduously to ensure that we brought the IMF program back on track. Mr. Speaker, the country was faced with significant fiscal and external vulnerabilities. We had an economy where, for so many years, we were running this economy as if there was free money from people, so we're not cutting our coat according to size. Mr. Speaker, we were very reckless, to say the least, in borrowing and in managing the fiscal space. Mr. Speaker, externally, we experienced serious heightened external vulnerabilities. And what that meant was that at some point in time, this country had only reserves that could last for 0.8 months, less than 2 weeks of reserves to manage this economy. So we just didn't even have the external reserves to import critical essential drugs just to keep us alive. Mr. Speaker, this government had to deal with such a situation. Mr. Speaker, we were also facing serious monetary crisis. Inflation was all over the place. At some point, inflation in Ghana was 54%. Mr. Speaker, to put that in perspective, if anybody was to give you money, he needed to get a return that is slightly above inflation. So if inflation is 54%, it means that for somebody to give you money, you must give him 54% plus a margin to cater for a real return. So you could not borrow for less than 60% under the government that we inherited. Mr. Speaker, we also knew that the exchange rate was all over the place. For almost 8 years, we had borrowed on the market over $60 billion, and yet we could not manage the cedi. $60 billion was thrown at the cedi, but we ended up with the cedi being selling at 17 cedis. That was the situation that we inherited. Mr. Speaker, today, some people are complaining that this economy, we pumped in $1.4 billion and they have never heard it before. But they were comfortable to pump $60 billion into that economy and they never complained. But Mr. Speaker, it is a fact that we never pumped $1.4 billion into the economy. What we put into the economy was forests that were generated by the economy. Mr. Speaker, a very simple question. If you set up a gold board, and that gold board that you set up, our importers into the country go to the banks, and they say that they need let's say $250 million in 1 week to import goods into this country. You take that money and you say, gold board, can you buy gold with this money? Bring us the forex, so we give them the $250 million that they need to import. Is that money not emanating from the economy? Or gold is not for Ghana? So if you decide to use gold board to buy gold and you make it available to meet your auction in the market, that is not injection of funding into the economy. That is pure intermediation of forex. And people who call intervention do not know that there's what we call intermediation in the forex market. And so on the average, the gold board was delivering $1 billion into the economy to fund forex. And people cannot understand why we are able to hold the city, because we're getting $1 billion to do that. So my brothers who are all over the place talking about injection, intervention, please revise your note. We're simply
FMS Strengths. I hope you enjoyed the updates. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. All the videos that we played, we don't own rights to them. No copyright infringement intended. Thank you.